Hey, it's Vega. You're on the Everything LCS channel. So I guess, enjoy it or something?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
I keep trying to get to mod view and not letting me go. We're starting. Okay.
Yeah, we're here. We're live. There's people watching. People are seeing us.
All right. Yeah, big brain move by me here. But okay. I guess we'll just get started, huh?
It just is what it is. We're just here now. And I just want to point out,
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear this hat the entire time. I just want to point out my CLG hat and jersey today. Just, like I'll wear every week. No big deal. Nothing special about this week at all.
Oh man, I kind of want to throw up right now, but okay. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Everything LCS. Yes, this is not Thursday, but this is Tuesday. We have moved our shows to Tuesday, and we just wanted to get you our amazing podcast that much sooner. So we are here once again. What episode is this? Episode 18 of Everything LCS, talking about week 2 and what just disappointments and what surprises we had. Also,
What disappointments?
we had some disappointments, but we also had some surprises. And honestly, one of the surprises for me
Say it.
was CLG. They showed up. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it in the slightest, because just a CLG effect. People start thinking that they're gonna start doing well, and usually they flop. People think they're gonna do bad, and they succeed. I mean, technically people were 50-50, and this week they brought in a nice sweet and a nice fat 2-0 to help them be one of the leading contenders currently for our opening 2 weeks. So Vega, I know you're excited, so you could take on this for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm torn, right? Because obviously,
You mean you're torn? You have your CLG hat on. You're celebrating.
well, anytime we do well, I'm an age-old CLG fan since season 1, so I know what success means most of the time for us. So I'm very excited. People thought we sucked. Obviously, we're not. We're not that bad. We're not like immortals. We beat them. But yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome for CLG.
That's not much to brag about.
Yeah, we're not Dig. We're not TSM or 100 Thieves or any of those other teams that don't have 3 wins. But it is weird to see CLG in the conversation with like FlyQuest, Team Liquid, EG, stuff like that. I just realized I never moved this. We'll put it up here. All of those, all those teams, it is weird to kind of see us in like the mix with that. But it's good, because a lot of people talked about CLG had been good in scrims for a while, and I think we've heard with like every team for like ever that, they're good in scrims. I don't know why it doesn't show on stage. And they finally actually had like a really good week. Thank God, Thank God. I can't do back-to-back 10th place splits. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I mean, I was ready for it. I was like, oh man, here we go, CLG 10th again. But sadly, I mean, luckily there are teams like Dignitas and Immortals. But before we get into the nitty gritty, I also want to say, player of the week.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a player of the week this episode, maybe in future episodes as well. And my player of the week for this was actually on CLG, and it had to be Ruin. Maybe it was because he was using Volibear, and he's kind of busted. Maybe not busted, but strong enough to really make an impact. But yeah, Ruin showed up big in my opinion. Definitely performed. It wasn't so much he got player of the week because he performed better than most top laners. It was just he was such a key part in the wins that CLG got that I just had to commend him for his efforts. It was a really good showing.
Yeah. And to save from picking a CLG player and not being biased, I thought Vulcan. I mean, I feel like they're so good now in C9 that it gets overlooked. And I have a little bit of a rant about the player of the week system the LCS uses, as opposed to the one LEC uses. Where there's actual voting from fans and stuff like that. But like, it feels like a lot of people maybe are just tired of hearing about how good C9 is. But like, hey, they're still good guys.
Yeah.
Vulcan's still the best support in LCS. I mean, and he had an absolute pop-off week. I think he's only died 2 times so far this summer.
Yeah, he has a 46 KDA right now, I think.
It's disgusting. And I mean, it's not like he's not engaging and like making fights happen either. Like, it's just gross how well he's playing. And he's well worth the money they paid for him in the offseason. You know, obviously they got 1 title. They're looking at getting another one with how dominant they look. And we'll get into one of those games. But yeah, Vulcan just far and away the best support in North America right now.
Yeah, he has definitely paid back that. What was it, 2.5 or was it
1.6? I think.
Okay,
2.5 is what
million?
they sold Sven, Kumo, and they sold EG for.
Okay, yeah, so he definitely paid forward that 1.6 million already, and you know they've been getting more sponsors. BMW.
Oh, I know, right?
And they got the LCS trophy. So yeah,
they have like real sponsors.
Yeah, they got serious sponsors,
like Puma and stuff like that. It's like, wow, whoa.
That's why their merch is so good. I don't own any, but you know.
But
yeah, you know, and you're right. People have overlooked C9. I will admit I might have overlooked some of C9 simply because they're always going to be so good. Why do I even have to watch their games so closely? But that's not the point. You know, it's not good to forget the efforts and how good these guys are because they're just the favorites. They're the favorites. It's kind of crazy because it's like after one split, people are already tired of C9 winning.
I know. I think it's the manner in which they win. It's just like they just smash teams. Like it's not like they barely pulled that game out. You know, it's like, okay, C9 was up like 10K at like 15 minutes. Like this is disgusting.
Yeah, but that's something that should definitely be celebrated by the community. But it's not, and it's very upsetting. I feel if it was teams like TL and TSM, I feel a lot like even the casters wouldn't be so C9's winning again, but they wouldn't be like, oh, TL's just winning again, oh, TSM's winning again. They're like, oh, this team is so good. Like I mean they say that, but they don't say it as enthusiastically as I feel they have hyped up, say, TSM or TL in the past. Like they themselves are kind of downplaying the success of C9.
Maybe it's the international thing. Maybe it's we're so worried to hype, you know, a team in North America because we're like, well, we don't want to build them up as a super team and then send them off to Worlds to not get out of groups.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, like, it's, you know, if you want to create hype around your own league and get people to watch, you've got to, you know, hype up the teams that are playing. Your best team in the league is playing. Like, this week was an awesome week for matchups. I won't say it necessarily delivered on, you know, the games. There were some good games, but some of the hypey matchups were kind of disappointing, but we'll get into them. But yeah, for C9, it's historic how good they are right now. Like, I can't remember a team since the first C9 that's been this dominant, you know.
Yeah, the hype matches both ended up kind of being stomps. Yeah. So it's okay. You know, that just shows how good our top 2 teams are. And especially C9 still being super good, as we mentioned before. But you know, let's actually go deeper into the rise of CLG, in my opinion.
Let's do it.
Yeah, like the Golden Guardians game was super good, in my opinion. But it's also, honestly, I have to say comp diff. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. One thing to note is that Inero, the coach for Golden Guardians, has been out the last week with the flu. So their games this week looked less clean, and I tried to think about that when CLG, you know, out-comped them pretty hard. This game is that their coach was not drafting for them. It was not there for practice this week, so it's like, okay, maybe, you know, CLG won that, and, you know, it looked good. Obviously, CLG looked more coherent as a team than they have in, like, since summer of last year when it was Biofrost and PoE. But yeah, like, that's one thing to note. Like, there was a big comp difference in that game. Like, they didn't have their coach.
Yeah, like, let me see. I have it up now. Like, we're getting into this later, but, you know, Golden Guardians chose a poke comp, while CLG had Friggle Meatball comp, is what I like to call it. They have their 3 tanks and their 2 damage dealers. And also, Pobelter had a really good game. Alongside with Ruin, both of them made great moves around the map. And Ruin was honestly one of the only Polar Bear users that week that I saw really utilize his ult. You know, I mean, a couple episodes ago, I was saying how Polar Bear's ult is going to be such a huge game changer in pro play, or in terms of like how teams are going to go about objectives. And you know, Ruin TP'd bot, ulted the bot tower, boom, got first tower and got a double kill too. So it was good to see a player actually bring out a new pick on the first week, second week, on the first week, where it's on the second week for the LCS, and it was a real treat to see. I love seeing new champs, and I like seeing the bear. Kind of inspired me to actually maybe do some top games myself in solo queue, even though solo queue is a mental roller coaster.
Don't torture yourself like that. Don't play top lane.
Oh man, that's how I climbed this season. I can't let it go. But yeah, you know, and then the second game that CLG had, which was against Dig. I mean, all right, not to downplay. Wait, no, it wasn't against Dig. Yeah, which was against Dig. Not to downplay CLG's wins or anything, but you know, they were against Golden Guardians isn't a bad team for one.
Right.
They're not. But Dig is definitely a bad team.
Dig is a very bad team.
Yeah, Dig is a very bad team lately, and has really been underwhelming in their performance. I mean, yeah, you can see they're clearly trying to do stuff, but super underwhelming. And but yeah, CLG just handled them handedly as well, and it was just a good game, good week by CLG, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah,
really.
And I mean, like, these are the games they're supposed to win, right? Because like that's really what separates like the playoff teams from the non-playoff teams. Is like if you have to be able to beat the people you're supposed to beat. Like, you're supposed to beat Dig. If you're gonna be a playoff team, you probably need to be able to beat Golden Guardians. You know, that's fine, and that's what they did. They beat the teams they either are even with or are expected to be better than. They're expected to be better than Dig. They beat Dig. You know. And that's good for them because the schedule is not easy. Like, there's not a lot of weeks that are easy for them. Especially, like, looking at next week, they've got FlyQuest and they've got, who is it? FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. So, like, they should theoretically go 1-1 next week. FlyQuest should be really hard. I think most people would pick FlyQuest to beat CLG. But, like...
Especially if they put Mash in again.
Oh, my God.
Like, Mash was mashing the competition.
I'm going to shut up about any roster moves forever now. I'm just not going to talk about it anymore. I made so much fun of MASH. And, well, I'll just shut up. He was a free agent in our fantasy league.
Oh, yeah, he was. And no one picked him up.
I had Wild Turtle, and I forgot.
All right. Yeah, and you played yourself there. But, no, it was super good to see Mash come in. Which one was a complete stomp? Was that a TSM game?
Yeah, that was gross. Do you want to go ahead and hit the? Let's just get the nasty teams out of the way.
Yeah, let's get the bad teams out the way. We not saying TSM's a bad team. We'll get into them later. They're just just a disappointment.
Be happy that you're not getting ready to be talked about if you're a TSM fan.
Yeah,
so we're gonna start from the bottom and go up.
Yeah, so as we can clearly see, we have IMT and Dig sitting at the bottom, and Immortals is it's just a sad team to watch, really.
Yeah, Immortals sucks. I mean, I don't know if there's a better way to put it. They're just bad. Like, it's not good to watch.
I'm here trying to actually give a very heartfelt and thoughtful answer. Just like, they suck. They're
suck.
trash.
Like,
they are garbage. And all these words are true.
When I see Immortals, I think no. When I don't see Immortals, I think yes.
Okay, all right. And
that's my analysis.
And I mean, that's perfectly fine. No one actually wants to see an Immortals game. People only want to see an Immortals game just to see how badly they're going to lose. And like the Immortals versus TSM game, I rewatched that one a bit today, and I was trying to wrap my thoughts around it. But in terms of that game, they just got ran over. And that it just showed how like dysfunctional they were. But the TSM IMT game wasn't like the most awful. They just got ran over by Spica, in my opinion, and TSM just were able to carry and perform through that because IMT aren't a team. What really stuck out to me was the 100 Thieves versus Immortals game. You saw how dysfunctional they are as a team. They messed up well, not several dives, but they messed up a dive bot. Gate just getting caught out over and over again. Guys making like bad rotations. They tried to pull off a dive on 100 Thieves. Altec and Gate went in too early. Gate died, and before even Potluck and Ica could get down there. And it's really bad because it doesn't even look like Ica's the worst player on their team.
Dude, that's what's crazy. Is like they're so bad. It's like Ica doesn't deserve this. I mean, Ica doesn't deserve to be an LCS, but he don't deserve this.
Yeah, like it's just Potluck doesn't deserve this. He's by far the best performing player on the team, and you can see it through how he's playing. He's like trying to get objectives. He's trying to force things. He's trying to get the picks. But the way Immortals are just moving around the map and going about fights and just getting caught, they look like a solo queue team with a jungler, where the jungler's like trying to do as much as they can, and their team is just like, haha, jungle diff.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. They look like a team in solo queue, and they look like just a really bad amateur team. Like I bet if they went into the Upsurge Esports, it's on right now with 100 Thieves Next, they just get smashed by 100 Thieves Next.
Yeah.
And
what is the argument for starting Gate? Like, what is the upside to starting Gate? I don't get this. They have who? They have Hakuho?
Yeah, they have Hakuho.
So they don't have any developmental support on any of their rosters.
Yeah, no.
What's the point in having a challenger team?
An academy team.
Academy team, yeah.
For Immortals,
Academy
there
team.
is no point because their coach is awful. Like,
because
their
coach is awful.
Yeah, because since their inception into the league, even when they were Optic before Immortals took over Optic, they got 9th, they got 8th, they got like 8th again, and they got 7th, I believe. And it's just not good. And with a record like that, you shouldn't think that they should have made some changes in the upper management, some changes in anything. And they haven't. And it's just really unfortunate and bad, Yeah. If they wanted to let me see. If they wanted to actually have a good team, they could definitely have a decent team at least. Like Apollo Hakuho are just a stable bot lane in general. And like you could keep Potluck or you could move in like Smithy, but then you need either a carry mid or a carry top, and they haven't either.
No, they don't. There's no version of that roster with what they currently have that excites me in any way. They are like the LCS retirement home. Their whole support staff down there at the bottom, I mean like support as in players, is both players who have been in the league since at least Season 3 or Season 4. So there's like no new things you're going to figure out about this team, right? There's no... You're not trying these guys on stage to see how good they are. Like, how good Gate and Hakuho are. And your point should be, if you're in a team like Immortals, you're obviously not luring like top tier free agents right now, right? Like, who's going to sign with Immortals after this split? Who's going to want to be like, you know what? I'm going to Immortals.
Academy players?
That's the point. You should be getting players and giving them a chance, because that's the way you're going to build. You have to take the C9 approach, which is like, hey, we're going to get academy players, we're going to get a good coach, and we're going to try and create things. And also, just from a financial perspective, it makes more sense, right? Because, like, why are you overpaying for Smithy and Soaz, and you're not even using them? Like, you're not even doing anything with them.
Or, like, Soaz is, like, running it down.
Yeah, Smithy's on your academy team. It's like, what's the point? Like, just trade him for, like, some academy players you can start. Go get, like, Fake God or something.
Yeah, could definitely get Fake God. Get like Fake God, get Evolved. I'm not even sure if either of those guys would want to leave their orgs to go
Probably not.
to Immortals unless they got some type of drastic change in their upper management.
Fake God might, just because he is LCS level, and the opportunity to start in the LCS might be worth it.
Yeah, it definitely would, because he's not going to be able to start with someday.
No,
or even when Tenacity moves up, like Tenacity will definitely take his spot.
Yeah.
Hands down. So yeah, I mean, if Immortals wants to, they're 0-4. They're 0-4. I said if they go 0-4 this week, they better make some like changes or something. It's weird. There's no real changes they can make that would possibly be good, but you know, they should just put in Alorum and Insanity. Okay, at least their top side would have, you know what, Alorum, Insanity, and what else?
Apollo
and
Haku.
Apollo Haku.
Why not?
Yeah, that's it. Why not? Because you're 0-4. You know, it's not like Spring Split where if you go 0-4, that's like, you're not making playoffs at all. But if you're 0-4 right now, you definitely need to make some changes, or else you will most likely not make playoffs.
You're not winning the split here.
Yeah,
like,
you're not
happening.
Well, yeah, they're definitely not winning the split, so they should start making some changes.
I think you tear this team down into the year. I think you completely tear down staff and everything into the year on this team.
Yeah, you just boom it. Just get Rain over, and maybe some other academy coach, and bring them over.
You need
or
good
promote
GM.
Your academy coach.
Yeah, you need a good GM. You need to get a new head coach for LCS. Whether it's promoting or going to get Rainover's got to be the most wanted, jewel this offseason as a coach for somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you got to blow it up. At this point, like there's no bright spot for this team. There's nowhere you're looking at and you're like, we can build around that. Maybe Potluck. Potluck has actually looked okay, so maybe you're like, we keep Potluck, we blow the rest of the roster up. Maybe keep Insanity. But like outside of that, I don't know what they're doing.
It's just utter darkness and depression when you look at Immortals.
Even me, who loves shitting on Immortals, like so much, it's just not fun anymore. It's like that Simpsons meme where like, stop killing him, stop hitting him, he's already dead.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to talk about this every week. I don't want to talk about how bad Immortals is every week. At least last split they won games and infuriated me. Because they're so bad, but they're winning games. And this split's just like, man, you gotta just... Why even show up?
Why even show up to play League?
Like, it's just depressing. We ain't even got to dig yet. At least they, played the game.
Yeah, at least with Dig... See, that's the thing. We started low. We're going up a bit. With Dig, they're not as depressing, You could tell they're actually trying stuff. Although... I never want to see Froggen on LeBlanc again.
Yeah, I'm just done with Froggen. I'm done. I'm done with Froggen. I'm off the hype train forever now.
Okay, yeah, I'm probably also done with Froggen. Like, what he's shown so far in the past 4 splits that he's been playing, very low diversity, very bad kind of game sense and how it needs to be now. In LeBlanc, that game was so depressing. Which game was that? That was the Dig Fly game.
Yeah,
that was a Dig Fly game. And Aframu and Johnson. Wait, no, am I wrong about that?
Maybe.
Dang, I'm not sure. But anyways, it was Callista. It was Johnson and Aframu bot, and it was Callista and Bard, and their bot lane actually popped off.
Popped off. I mean, we
were doing great.
I think Afro's looked okay this split, by the way. I think he's actually looked much better than he did in spring.
Yes, especially he even looks better than last week in general. He greatly improved from last week. Their bot lane looked good. Johnson was popping off. Oh yeah, it was a fly game because it was Power of Evil and he was Quirky, and Froggen was LeBlanc. And
it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like Froggen's LeBlanc, Power of Evil's LeBlanc. Yeah, but it's just and Viper just making various mistakes and getting solo killed, ulting the wrong direction, into the enemy tower. Oh wait, no, that was Huni. Whoops. Or no, just so many. See, that's how bad Viper's been doing. I just thought he was Huni for a moment.
He has been really bad. I don't understand why Lorlo's not getting like a shot.
Yeah, there. Who knows? Maybe this week they will. Dick did say they were running a 10-man roster, so we may be able to see some type of change in the upcoming week. But I definitely don't want to see Viper, sadly. Like Acadian doesn't really play around the top side, but that's just because Viper's just forcing his own losses all the time.
Yeah, what's the point? What's the point in going up there?
Yeah, and then Froggen doesn't really help his jungler, and it's really sad because at the end of the spring split, they did look pretty good, and you'd think they were going to make some progress, but nope, they took 20 steps back, and now they're last place, 0-4, tied with the Mortals.
Who is their academy mid laner?
Phoenix. They're another LCS retirement home. Lorlo, Dardoch, Phoenix, and Asta and JJ. Well, Asta and JJ are still fairly young, but JJ's been in the league, and Asta he had one game for Optic, and he showed up pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think I don't know. I guess on the Froggen point, just to expand on people who don't get what I'm saying, it's we have a lot of import European mid laners now. Enough to see what a good import looks like. Between PoE, Jensen, Bjergsen, Niski. I'm sure there's others too. Enough now to where I'm Froggen is not worth that to me anymore. Because you watch all of them and their gameplay even versus him, and you're why is Dig using an import on Froggen? What's the point? Because all these other teams have imports. I mean, Niski was not a highly touted import, and they just took the time and coached him because he was a young talent. Froggen is not all of a sudden going to turn around and be this godlike mid laner, I don't think.
Yeah, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. And I mean, Niski, when he was on Splice before, and that's where Reaper caught him from. And when Niski played, he did on Splice. He wasn't the best of the best in EU, but he had his moments where you're whoa, this guy could be a top 3 mid.
Yeah.
In LEC right now. And here he is, smashing NA, making everyone look like a joke. So, I completely agree. Froggen is not worth the import spot he has right now. And even if he gets residency, he's not going to be worth it at all. He's not a piece that's going to make your team better.
No, I mean, you're never going to compete. I'm going to just say it now, clip it, tweet it, whatever you want. You're never going to win a title with Froggen in NA. It's just not going to happen.
At all, I feel you're not going to win with Froggen at all.
That if you're not competing for a title, I don't get the point. And I think there is a clear line of teams that you can tell are not competing for a title. Their goal is not to win a title right now.
Yeah, Dig, Immortals.
Dig, Immortals.
I think the thing is, I think every other team CLG, is maybe? Really trying.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, every other team's really trying. CLG. Sure, they made no roster changes, but they did make a coaching change, and they legit went back and looked over the spring split to see what they did wrong.
Yeah, I mean, who would they have gotten? I mean, you can't get an import right now. It's not like there were a lot of free agents or people. You maybe trade for Smithy, but I doubt it.
Yeah, no. I mean, Wiggly's maybe waking up and going oh, it's Summer Split. Let me try.
And I mean, 100 Thieves isn't they're not competing for a title right now, but they're very clear about their plan, which is to build for later, which is fine. They have a goal of winning a title, and they're making moves to strengthen that, with the next team and their academy team actually having players with potential that could get better, not people who are in their 30s. So I mean, realistically, 100 Thieves not going to win a title this year, but there's reason to believe that next year they could win a title because of moves they made this year.
Yeah, who knows? I believe Kenvi might be able. Kenvi, he's a jungler for 100 Thieves, the cat. 100 Thieves next, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Kenvi might be able to be promoted Not saying that he'll be like immediately put into the LCS team and not go through academy, but
Right.
you know, there's a way that who knows, maybe 100 Thieves is like, hey, Meteos want to be like, because Meteos hasn't looked super good, in my opinion. You know, he's not the jungler you need right now in this meta. You know, it'd be cool if 100 Thieves is like, hey, Meteos, you want to just try and work into being a coach? You could definitely be a positional coach if or like jungle. Boost up contracts, who's like he's a very volatile jungler. If you haven't watched Academy, he's very volatile.
Yes.
But he has the mechanics and I still feel he can be a good player. So you know,
Yeah,
boost
he's so
up
young.
contracts. Yeah, he's still young. You know, boost up contracts, have Meteos be the positional coach, be like, contracts, why are you inting? What are you doing? I mean, that's probably not going to happen because Meteos made it clear, hey, I want to keep playing. And he's like, I don't. He even said there's no reason for someone to stop playing, like even past like when they're 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
which I mean, I
dude,
get. I just maybe bad meta for him right now. It's just the way it's played right now. It's very hard for Meteos' style to flourish. And 100 Thieves, just as we're moving on, because they're 1-3, so it's a perfect segue for us. I feel like they're probably going to have the same thing that happened in spring, which is that they go and they beat a bunch of teams that are below them, and they get into playoffs, and then they probably get bounced in the first or second round.
Yeah, like, that's true.
They're a playoff team, but they're not realistically a threat to like semifinals, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean they go against TSM next week, so that'll really show us whether or not TSM is low or not. But you know, yeah. The Immortals game made me happy because they gave Someday the counter pick with Renekton into Aatrox. They ran over the game. Yeah, I know, it was great. And they straight up just ran over the game. Immortals is awful, but you know, it's great to see that.
That's what you have to be able to beat those teams. Like if you're gonna clear, especially this split, because like it's top 8 playoffs. So Dig and Immortals, if you're a team above them now, you have to beat them. Like because if you lose one of those teams, you're potentially giving up a playoff spot. If 100 Thieves loses to Immortals, and guess what? It's reversed. 100 Thieves is 0-4, and we're talking about them being awful.
Yeah. So it's it's upward trajectory. I mean, if anything, I feel they'll make playoffs. Like I know it's super easy. I mean, super early to make this claim, but honestly, Dig and Immortals aren't making playoffs, man. They just look so bad.
It would take like a grand meltdown from another one of the teams. I'll say it's almost all. I just believe in the coaching staff of the other 8 teams way more than I believe in Dig and Immortals. To like
coaching
turn the season
staff,
around.
Everything.
Like I believe Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves, and TSM. I don't believe in TSM's coaching staff, but I do believe in Doublelift and Bjergsen. That they're 100% going to top 8 this split.
You do believe in TSM's players at least?
Yes, at least they're player coaches, which are Doublelift and Bjergsen. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't have any reason to believe that team would be better than any of these other teams. And Immortals is just, they're awful.
Yeah, but with 100 Thieves next week, they're up against CLG and TSM. So they got out of their dumpster weeks, which were honestly against like 3 of the best teams. Who they go against? They went against TL, C9, and EG. So they're out of the tough parts of their schedule.
Well, you thought now you got 3-1 CLG.
Well, yeah.
Hey, we're a good team too.
Yeah, you're second. Okay. Okay.
Well, in a huge tie for second.
I'm going to keep doubting them.
You should.
Then they'll make playoffs.
You should. Yes.
That's how. I'm what's keeping them from being terrible.
Thank you for doing your service.
You're welcome. Yeah. So, 100 Thieves, they got the tough weeks out of the way, and I feel like 100 Thieves TSM game is going to be super important. And speaking of TSM, that's all I really have to say. Nothing really surprising. Nothing really surprising for me.
I got a stat for you.
They're still the same. They're still the same team. But if you want to dive into this first before I go on a flame-centric rant, just go ahead.
I just want to say something because I know there's somebody in our chat who is a huge TSM fan. And I just want to point out that the only reason we're all over them is because we know they should be better. You know, a team with that kind of talent and stuff like that should be way better than they are. You know what I mean? Like, Doublelift and Bjergsen should not be a 2-2 team at this point in the split. So we're not flaming them because we hate them. We're flaming them because they should be better. And with that said, how y'all only 2 wins are going to be digging Immortals? Come on, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You only beat the 2 last place teams.
It was only digging Immortals. Jesus Christ.
Doublelift is averaging right now. I didn't get enough time to do all the research, but Doublelift is averaging being down CSN lane at 10 minutes. So that's not even jungle. He's just averaging being down in experience in CSN lane now across all 4 games. That's Doublelift, the most lane dominant AD carry in North American history. And I was doing research because I was going back each split and seeing if that had happened in any of these splits, and it hasn't happened. Even last split, it didn't happen.
Yeah. So, yeah. He also has the 3rd lowest KDA, 3.7.
He's responsible for 20% of his team's deaths right now.
Yeah, and that's pretty.
Now he's had pop-off games, and I mean, I know he had the Syndra game, so obviously you're like, well, you know, we know he's not bad at mages, why did he play it? But, you know, obviously that's affecting his numbers, but it's worrying, you know, early in the year. Because, you know, if the motivation's returned and all that, you expect him to come out and kind of want to, you know, flex on other AD carries and show, like, you know, I'm the most dominant AD carry in North America. And yes, as I see that 20% is a 5th, but it's the highest in the league for AD carries. So, yeah, it's not pretty. I mean, I think when, you know, let's see, who else is on this list? I think when Wild Turtle has less of a death percentage than you do. Yeah, he's number 1. He's number 1 in deaths. He's the number 1 AD carry in deaths. And I mean, with all that being said, with how disappointing they've been and stuff like that, they're still 2-2. Their season's still wide open. Like, there's no reason to believe, like, they don't go on a streak here. Like, they've got EG and 100 Thieves this week. Those are 2 huge games for them. Because if they can 2-0 this week, you're like, okay, maybe TSM's turning the corner, right? Because
then if they go 0-2...
Holy moly. There'll be a very different podcast next week. My level of optimism for TSM will drastically drop. But if they beat 100 Thieves and lose to EG, I think we're right back in the same conversation of, like, you know, you should, if you're a top team, like I think TSM expects to be, they, you know, for a long time are the crown jewel of LCS, right? I mean, TSM is NA's baby, you know, forever. And if you're not beating EG, you know, who's not even the first place team, you know, you got to think about stuff. You know, you got to think about, you know, your coaching staff, your players' motivation, things like that. And they're under a ton of pressure already just because of how big their brand is. And you worry the longer they flounder in this, like, middle of the pack, the more that pressure mounts on players. Because, like, no one wants to be on TSM when you're struggling to make playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want that.
You know, they already lost against FlyQuest. They already lost against TL.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go against C9 yet, but they're not going to win that. And, you know, against CG, I don't even think they're going to beat CG, but if they could at least make the match competitive, the doubt that people have on TSM will definitely go down. Like, right now, I have high doubts for TSM. They're same problems as before. Draft problems, you know, that FlyQuest TSM game was just trolling. They go a full AP. Like, what, 4 out of 5 of their players are AP.
Yeah.
And you have Volibear top. What's Volibear going to do with that? You know, what's Brookblade going to do with that? Especially without an ADC, because, like, Volibear is a body. He's a big body. He's really great at being in the way and catching people. You need an ADC if he's going to be on the team, just because they're going to be trying to focus the Volibear, because people can't ignore him, because he's going to be doing tons of damage and catching all your people. And meanwhile, they choose the Syndra that that went on Doublet for some reason. And it was just like, why did you put it on Doublet? I know you guys, the Fiddle Tank mid worked great. It worked fantastic, but it worked fantastic against Immortals.
Yeah, it's Immortals, man.
Yes, and like if you're going to go that, you need another source of damage. You had 4 AP threats. That just isn't going to do anything. And I knew it was over when Doublelift missed the Syndra stun. He E'd too far away from his Q, and he didn't get the stun on Mashes of Philios. And at this point, if we're gonna see Doublelift Syndra, we might as well see Doublelift Senna at this point, because
I mean, why not?
It's gonna basically be
it's
gonna basically be the same thing. And yeah, it's just like draft problems. This is the thing that I said in the beginning. I want to see Bjergsen step up and be like, I'm going to freaking carry these games. And so far, I've not seen that. He's like this week alone just shows how far of a step back he has taken. Like if you're going to do that, at least, I mean, in the FlyQuest game they did do a dive top with Broken Blade, but at least like commit to that even more. Like Bjergsen, if you're going to take a step back, like Peter definitely isn't performing that well. Right now, he's not being the amazing player everyone expects him to be. Like if you're top laner, I'm actually going to try and see stats right now.
It's like you could have a Blaze Olive in there and play tank Fiddlesticks. What's the point in even having Bjergsen if you're going to stick him on stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point I'm making here. If you're going to have Bjergsen, you're going to have him on these beta champs when it's a clear mid jungle game at the moment. What's the point? If he is he not confident in trying to, like, what happened to the Bjergsen that legit solo carried a game versus C9 using Akali?
Yeah, where is Bjergsen's LeBlanc? Where is stuff like that?
Yeah, we know he could use these champions. Why? Okay, I know it is the early weeks, so I can say this with a grain of salt. I can't like completely flame them and break them down. So it's okay to experiment early, but like people want to be confident in TSM, and this week definitely didn't show much confidence. Like it was the same problems: draft, their priorities, what they're trying to do. They really gotta focus. They just need to focus. Okay, your team's solo mid. All right, play through mid jungle. Like Spica's actually good. You could actually do stuff with Spica. He has been great.
He's been sick.
Yes.
Outside of the one game where on Kane he got shut out of the game, which you know what? That was a super hype match. First game of the split. It's already out of my head. Like he's looked so good since then, and it's like you have this like sick aggressive jungler who's like super hungry, and you're playing mid tank Fiddlesticks, dude, and everybody's like so hyped about it because they beat Immortals. It's like you could have played anything and beat Immortals. It's like, who cares? Like, you played it again and you guys got crushed by FlyQuest because they have an actual mid laner.
Because they have an actual comp that doesn't have one source of damage.
Yeah, dude, how far are we falling that people are getting hyped up? Like, yeah, Bjergsen crushed Ica. It's like, dude, Ica gets crushed by the minions.
My favorite thing that I saw was... It was on Reddit. It was saying, "Oh, where are all these Dardoch fanboys now?" And I'm just like, "Oh my god, dude! No, it's against Immortals.
It's Immortals. You're playing against Potluck, dude."
And they're definitely worse than they were last split. Okay, so so you can't even say, "Oh yeah, TSM." It's like, no, and if they wanted to make a statement like, "Hey, we're TSM and we're here," they should have tried a better comp with the fiddle mid. You could have done fiddle mid, but you could have gone like you could have just gave double of Kai'Sa.
You have Broken Blade. Like, okay, play mid Fiddlesticks, whatever. I think it's a fine pick. Like, I think the pick is fine. It's just like, what's the point in having the all-time leader in MVPs in North American history, the second place in trophies in North American history, arguably the best mid laner ever that has played in North America, and you put him on tank fiddlesticks mid. It's like, yeah, that's cool when you play against, like, Ica, because, like, you know, Ica sucks. But, like, you play against PoE, who was, like, the second best mid last split, and guess what? It looked like it. It looked like you were taking your best player and putting him on tank fiddlesticks and hoping to win. I think it's fine, but it's like TSM doesn't get how to use their players ever. Like, you have Broken Blade, who's a sick carry top laner, and you're like, what if we put mid lane on tank fiddlesticks, but we also don't enable our side lane tank top to carry? You know, we don't enable Broken Blade to carry also. That way, we'll have no threats. And then we'll put our all-time greatest 80 carry in North American history on a mage, which he historically is terrible at, to the point of getting memed on it. It's like, is it like a grab bag of like bad decisions, and they just pick 3 out every week? Like, okay,
Maybe.
well, gotta play tank mids and gotta play mage's bot. That's just what the bag says. Oh, we lost a FlyQuest because we did nothing. Because our mid lane has no agency because he's tank fiddlesticks. And then he gets behind. PoE is infinitely more valuable in the game.
Yeah,
I just don't get
that's just how it
coaching
is.
stuff.
I hope they don't like flop the draft. I'd love to see them lose against 100 Thieves. Trust me.
I know
but,
you would.
Yeah, I'd at least want a competitive game versus Evil Geniuses to give the fans some hope, some faith. You know, I am also a Doublelift fan. You know, I like Doublelift.
Yeah, I want them to do good, man. It sucks seeing 2 of the best players that have ever played in LCS struggle, you know, like this. It's like, all of us want you to be good because it makes the other teams good too. Like, I want TL, EG, FlyQuest, C9, and TSM all to be like good and really having like good games against each other. It's just like, man, you guys are better than this. Like, there's no excuse now. Like, you can blame whatever you want on Spica because he's a new player, but it's not like Doublelift and Biofrost are crushing bot and Bjergsen smashing mid, and then your jungler's just going 0-15 every game. It's like Spica looks like the highlight of your team. So
yeah, I mean, that's just how it is with TSM these days. But yeah, we can move on. I mean, we've kind of already talked a bit about some of the teams, like, well, not Team Liquid and Fly, but I don't know. I feel not much has changed. I mean, Team Liquid losing against EG and in such a crushing fashion is pretty telling. I mean, not that much, but it's telling of EG. It shows that EG is definitely one of the teams that are in high contention. And
they're
everyone's been
they're
seeing
second
that since
best,
day
right?
one.
They're second best, right? I mean,
Yeah, hands down.
I think that now we can definitively say EG is probably, because they got smashed by C9, but then I thought, well, shit, they're going to get crushed by TL because TL looks really good, but they just turned around and were like, okay, well, we're better than TL. And I'll say right now, Kumo is a thug. Like, absolutely. Like, this dude is like a totally different person. Like, that game against TL, he was like putting Impact in the dumpster.
It's those Hoonie 1v1s, man.
Dude,
what did I tell you?
Holy moly. I was like, this is insane. Like, look at how different they look as a team, too. And even in the C9 game, you were like, God, this sucks for Kumo because he's, like, doing okay. But, like, everyone else is feeding.
Yeah, that was a draft diff right there.
Big
for
draft
the
diff.
C9 game. I mean, maybe kind of like team diff too, because C9's just so good, as we always say. But, you know, you go Caston,
And
you
then
don't even go
TP, get
footwork.
killed, TP back, and get dove and killed again.
Yeah,
Caston.
you know, that's legit. That's a SOAS move. He TP'd back when
Oh my
all
God.
3 TSM members were still top lane, and then insta died.
Y'all don't get to brag about that win, okay? He's inting. I mean, you hadn't even gotten out of vision yet when he channeled TP.
Yeah, I was just. I mean, yeah, that was super bad. I just wanted to make that point that what Jizuke did was in fact an Immortals move. So, but you know, it was uncharacteristic. Like Jizuke should have had. What did he go? I think he went like Conqueror Comet instead of going Fleet Footwork to sustain up, and you know, the jungle mid 2v2 wasn't even that good either. and they just didn't let Jizuki get off the ground. You know, I mean, and that shows their faults. That shows some of EG's faults. They need to. Sometimes they get too overzealous, and they're like, "We could do this," and then it ends up you can't. You know, I feel when they're up against better teams, they need to think of a better plan, which they did with TL.
Yeah, really good game against TL. It just felt weird. Like that draft just felt super weird against C9. It's like you have a really strong laning mid laner who wants to have agency and make plays, and C9 is like historically a very punishing early game team. So I mean, like picking Cassidy just feels weird. It's like we need Jizuke to be strong early to do things with our jungler to get off the ground, and we're like, let's pick something that's got to get to level 16. Like, there's no way C9's gonna let that happen. There's just no world where C9's like, we're gonna let Cassidy take over this game.
Yeah, and we clearly saw that. You know, so it's no draftive game, but I know Evil Geniuses definitely learned a lot. I mean, Kumo still looked good, as you said. So currently, I do think they are second. Actually, you know what? They may not be second best. FlyQuest did put up a better fight against C9 than EG did.
That's true.
So who knows? Although the only team that actually took longer than maybe 28 minutes was Golden Guardians. So who knows? That's also up in the air right now. They maybe won 3, but they're still looking good. But yeah, so EG, their 2 games were great. We don't see EG versus FlyQuest for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but I think that will be a clear definition of, all right, which team is better. I mean, FlyQuest has looked really good.
We do get TL versus C9 Friday though, which will be
but
pretty telling
seeing...
for TL. What if TL upsets C9?
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. That shows, one, they can improve super well after getting like destroyed by Evil Geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, that shows, hey, TL wasn't memeing this whole time. They weren't just saying, "We're back, guys." They were actually like, "We're back, guys. Get ready."
Deeper voice.
Yeah, you know.
We mean
that's
it.
exactly.
We mean it.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So like matches are. I'm excited. I'm excited for next week. Like Fly versus CLG. I feel that'd be pretty good. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Fly CLG is definitely going to define. I think that's like the test for CLG, right? It's like if you look good against FlyQuest or win, then people will start to believe you're actually a good team.
Yeah, but people can't believe CLG.
Well, no, they'll beat FlyQuest if people are like they're good, and then they'll lose to 100 Thieves in the first game the next day.
Okay, yeah. So
that would be a very CLG thing to happen. TSM EG is really hype, just because like it's TSM's chance to be like, hey, we're good. You know, we are as good as these teams, and if EG wins, EG gets to kind of make that separation of like, hey, we're a top team. Like we're not messing around with these middle of the pack teams.
Yeah, it's like we're not like the others. We're not like these normies here. We're above the rest.
What's your game of the week? I'm definitely going C9 Immortals because like I would love to see C9 just like perfect game a team.
Game of the week. C9 Immortals.
It's got to be TLC9, right? I mean,
I wouldn't say TLC9.
You don't think so?
My game of the week would probably be. I haven't really thought about it that much, but looking at it, might be no, not Fly TLC. Never mind. Actually, yeah, TLC9. What am I saying? TLC9.
Yeah, I mean, like you could make an argument for TSM EG and FlyQuest CLG, just because of like if C9 beats TL, it's not really like nothing happens, but like what comes out of the FlyQuest CLG game and the TSM EG game is more impactful. Of like what it means for the teams involved, because like even if TL beats C9, I don't think anybody's gonna be like, well, C9's not the best team. Like we'll just be like, oh, okay, well, I mean they lost a game last split to TSM also, and they were miles apart.
Yeah, there's like serious stakes like for the TL C9 game. I feel there's more stakes for like TL. Like C9 honestly wouldn't care if they lost. They want to lose, so they could be like, hey, this is hey, this is good. We have things we need to fix.
Yeah, and I mean,
TL wins.
oh, it's
They're like,
huge.
yeah, it's huge. It's humongous. But like as you said, the Fly CLG game, that game has heavy stakes. TSM versus EG. That's a game of high stakes too. You know, it's a high stakes for TSM, and high stakes for EG, as we mentioned before. So I'll
Even
see.
TSM 100 Thieves is
My
super high
game of
stakes.
yeah, yeah. Wait, you said TSM 100 Thieves?
Yeah, because like either of those teams losing that game is really bad for that team. Because if you're 100 Thieves and lose that game, you're going to be sitting at the very least 4 losses, maybe 5. And if you're 1-5, it's real bad. And if you're TSM losing to 100 Thieves, it's like that's not a good look 3 weeks into the season.
Yeah, because right now you want to like the teams that are top 8, they want to stay top 8. They want to do as much as they can to further their position from the bottom 2 teams, which are Dig and Immortals. So yeah, you're right. You know, 100 Thieves definitely wants to win because then they'll be like, aha, we're even further away from you guys. And TSM's just gonna be like, dang, we may be kind of bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't know. It's a big week. Week 3, week 4. This is the time when like the pressure ratchets up because teams should be back in, LCS mode, back in, like knowing who they are. You've had a couple weeks to improve, and this is where you start defining that upper pack of teams from the lower pack of teams. Who's going to be a championship threat to who's going to limp into playoffs and get bounced in the first round.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel the summer split's just so weird, simply because of the 8-team playoff format.
Dude, I hate it. I just hate it.
I know. It just seems like certain things just don't feel as important, or who knows? Maybe it will feel more important. We may hit middle of the split, and all these teams are like maybe a few games away from because seeding does matter. That's whether or not you're in the losers bracket or not.
Yeah.
Like 7th and 8th start in the losers bracket, so they don't get 2 chances.
Yeah.
Top 6 they have like 2 chances. So who knows? Middle of the split, we may see a real ramp up, but I'm still really glad about the play that we've seen recently. It's just, man, the 8-team format.
It's just like if you're gonna do an 8-team playoff, there used to be 12 teams in the league.
Yeah, and we've said this, but who knows? Maybe
like 100 times, yeah.
since there's this 8 teams are allowed, the bottom 2 may just like right now bottom 2 are 100 Thieves and Golden Guardians. These guys may like just be trying to rapidly improve, just to be like, we cannot be here. We cannot be a game away from not making playoffs.
Yeah.
You're
one game better than Immortals.
Yeah, so we may like throughout the split, we may in fact see some high variance just based off of like teams' determination on what they want. Because I like teams definitely don't want to be 7th and 8th. But they definitely want to at least make playoffs. So
yeah.
if they're ever at bottom 2, like those teams are definitely just you're going to see something crazy. I think like this week for 100 Thieves and Golden Guardians, these games may be pretty good or intense because they're going to be like, hey, we don't want to be here. We don't want to be a game away from playoffs. Even though it's early in the split, this may be the mindset of some teams. This may be how they're feeling when put in this position. So those are another 2 games that I kind of look out for, just based on the mental game, like the mentality when it comes to making playoffs at the end of the split.
Yeah, and if you're like a coach or GM at this point, especially somewhere like Dig or Immortals, or I would say the others in the league are probably safe because most of these teams have had some success or some upturn, especially Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves. But like if you're on Dig or Immortals right now, like your job's on the line. Because I mean, if Dig misses playoffs back-to-back splits or the collapse Immortals has had, even back from Optics, it's the same staff. I mean, how much rope is left for people like that? When you're like, they have not had success at all yet as a team. Optic had like 1 split in playoffs where they looked okay.
And then they went out the first round.
Yeah, and now Immortals will have missed playoffs. Did they make playoffs? Yeah, they made playoffs and got bounced last split, or they barely missed it?
No, they missed it in the tiebreaker
That's right.
games.
So they'll miss.
They ended 8th.
They'll miss playoffs potentially, back-to-back splits. So will Dignitas, and for Dig that's not good. Like you have like Froggen and like Aframu and stuff like that. So missing playoffs back-to-back splits is like, as a coach or GM, I would be worried. Explaining that, like, why are we terrible 2 splits and Golden Guardians and FlyQuest are in playoffs? How, you look at FlyQuest and you're like, how, even CLG is 3-1 right now? How do you explain that?
Yeah, and especially going from Clutch Gaming, who, yeah, they like were last, like 2 spring split, like 2 spring, no, last spring split, like last year's spring split. And then they made Worlds in the summer, so and they got rid of all these great parts that they had before, so that just looks bad too. It's like, oh, we didn't make Worlds, and then the upper management is just going to be like, hey, what's going on here? We made Worlds last time. This isn't okay. So yeah, it's pretty like the format's weird because 8 teams.
Yeah.
But it's I still feel it's just really high pressure. Even like, because if you just don't make it, you're just bad.
Yeah, it's 8 teams. 80% of the league is making it. So if you're a team that doesn't make playoffs in summer, it's like you have to really be messing up, because there's going to be multiple teams with losing records that make playoffs.
Yeah. Let's see. So I actually want to get into something about like the meta right now.
Oh yeah. Go do your parks. I just have one thing to say.
Yeah. Oh wait, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I just have one thing. Why is no one picking Wukong in NA? I mean, the analyst desk talks about it. Every North American, podcast I listen to, the Dive, stuff like that, talks about it. All these other leagues are picking Wukong. He's pick banned in every other league. In North America, he's not even getting banned. They're just not playing him. It's like I'm seeing teams with like Someday and stuff like that where they're like, hey, Wukong's available as the last pick here. We could pick it. Nah, let's play Aatrox again. It's like, what are we doing? It's good. I know players in North America play this. So why is the NALCS just willingly not playing good champions? But yeah,
I don't know, man. Maybe scrims just aren't working out for Wukong. Like, even I'm positive Wukong is a counter pick to Aatrox also. Because Aatrox Q, you E in, get some autos. Q, Aatrox is probably dead after like 2 more trades. So that's one thing. People aren't using counter picks. We finally saw a counter pick this week. 100 Thieves, like Someday, used Renekton into Aatrox, clapped Soaz, but it's Soaz and its Immortals. Was good to see that at least one team is utilizing their top laner and getting a counter pick. That's one. Lack of Wukong, really depressing. You see it in LPL, LCK, you even see it in LEC. It lost when it was top lane, but it's been smashing when it's been being played by Mad as support. But that's because they're going the crazy support Senna with the carry support player, and that's been going great. But my main problem is we have Aphelios, Ezreal lanes. Okay. Almost every game. And to be honest, most of the time, the team with the Aphelios just outscales the Ezreal comp. And you know why? This happens because we have teams who are picking Ezreal into things like Volibear, Trundle, and Volibear, Trundle, and like Nautilus when they have an Aphelios and say whatever the mid laner is. It doesn't really matter. Because you have this Ezreal who can't tread tanks, and he can't tread. I also feel another reason the Ezreal teams are losing versus Aphelios more is because the Ezreal cannot tread tanks. They're not building Bork like they used to do. They're building Death Dance like 3rd item, and I feel Death Dance should at least be like a 4th item. Like, sure, you can never die, but yeah, you can't die, but you can't do damage either, and that's just one problem. And another problem, why do we have to keep seeing Aphelios? No. Why do we have to keep seeing Ezreal into Aphelios all the time? It's like, yeah, there's a Death Dance build. But my point is, did you watch the G2 Fnatic Spring Final?
Yeah.
Like, G2 picked Kog'Maw Lulu into Fnatic 3 times in a row and 3-0'd them super fast. Why are teams not building? Why are teams not picking another hyperscaling ADC into Aphelios? Because there was like an interview that someone did for LAC. It's like one team has Ezreal and one team has Aphelios, and that's just true. You know, you're not going to. And when they have an Aphelios, teams usually choose really beefy champs to protect him. That's the point. And if this is going to happen legit every single game, teams should be trying to whip out some type of other hyper scaling carry. I mean, TSM kind of did this when Double chose Kai'Sa, but it's Immortals, so I just have to put an asterisk next to that because Immortals is just garbage. But teams just not exploring. They're just afraid. They're like, oh, Death's Dance is too broken. It's just like, no, you need to figure out what else you could use into Aphelios. Like, obviously Kalista isn't working because Kalista, like, once you get through mid game, Kalista can't compete with the Aphelios damage. Can't be Ezreal because there's always some tanky champ with the Aphelios, so Ezreal legit can't get his damage out onto the Aphelios or like try to one-shot anyone because everyone's so tanky. So why aren't these teams choosing another hyper scale carry at least? At least, like Lulu's in the meta.
Yeah, she's really good. Both are really good.
Yeah, so it just really doesn't make sense, and it's just really sad to see this, like, and I mean, I don't know. It's just one reason why LCS just keeps getting like taken a dump on by everyone. There's no teams using their brain. We have players who have been playing this game for a very long time. These guys know how to use so many champions. Why don't you think of or like craft some comps to try and answer the Aphelios? It's like, yeah, your scaling ADC won't be able to do everything Aphelios does because 200 years. But that's just the argument. But he'll still be that hyperscaling ADC. G2, as I said, they used Kog'Maw 3 times in a row and just wiped Fnatic. And Fnatic's not a bad team. No. So, that's just how it is. It's really sad to see no one exploring the meta right now.
NA coaching is bad. NA coaching is bad.
That is to summarize exactly what my whole rant.
It's just we don't draft at all. We just pick the same stuff for like the last 2 years. Until something comes up, like it's broken. We play that regardless of matchup all the time, even if it doesn't work, and we don't care why it didn't work. It was just unlucky.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I know these guys watch LPL and LCK and LAC, and there's all these other picks coming out. So, shake up the draft, shake up the meta a bit.
Yeah,
shake it up. That's it. Yeah. Anything else you have to say, Vega?
I hope I can wear this jersey again next week. Yeah, thanks to everybody. Who's tuned in and stuff like that and followed. Just we keep getting more support, which is awesome from you guys. And I know a couple people who I've met this year are like, "Hey man, I watch you guys stream all the time. I love the podcast, stuff like that." People send me questions more now through the weeks, and that's so awesome. Thank you guys a ton for it, for getting involved. We love doing it. We love having you guys involved. Get in the chat. Talk to us. Do whatever. You have questions about LCS. You don't agree with us. You think we're idiots. Whatever. Just get in there and tell us, man. Saz, who's a mod in here, he has no shame in telling us why TSM is good and we're wrong. So, yeah, just do it. It's, totally cool. And if there's stuff you want us to do, if there's other content you want to see from us, I know, recently I've been streaming that terrible Chinese League of Legends General Manager game. And,
I was actually about to get into it.
Dude, it's fun. It's so fun. I fought the urge to play it off stream so hard and just give pure experience with everyone. But yeah, if there's anything else you want us to do, if you want, us to build all-time teams and make content, if you want us to talk about, old teams or previous years of LCS, we'll do whatever. Just let us know, guys. Hit us up on Twitter. Talk to us in chat, anything like that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for everybody who followed tonight. I know we have the noises off for follows, but thanks to everybody who followed tonight again. Yeah, just thanks for letting us do this.
Yeah, super awesome. But you forgot the one thing. We've been opening up at least a question from the
Oh,
chat.
that's
So
right. That's right.
before we close things out, if there are any questions that you guys would want us to answer, just drop it in the chat. If not, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, if you have any questions about any teams, any player, any comp, well, maybe not comps, we're not that much experts, but anything in general,
We'll do our best.
feel free to leave anything in the chat.
Yeah,
But
we'll
yeah,
give you our honest opinion too. Unfiltered, honest opinion.
yeah, and as Vega was saying, like anything you guys want us to do, well, not anything you guys want us to do, but
Anything.
LCS related. Anyways, if you guys want us to do a deep dive on the team currently, we may do it. If you want us to uber flame a team, I mean, we do that all the time, so there's no problem with that. But yeah, guys, so just thank you for following us and joining us during this time. This is something that me and Vega decided to do for fun, and it's been getting a lot of traction and support, and we really appreciate it because it's just been great, and just getting some thoughts out there for the LCS, and it's cool to see so many people support. So if there are no questions from the chat, and if that's it, I guess we'll just end it here, guys. Thank you for joining us for this 18th episode of Everything Else. Yes, we're almost at 20. We're almost there. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us and being interactive and just being amazing. So we'll catch you guys next week for another episode to flame some teams. So see you guys.
See you guys.